while I was waiting for my turn, I was looking at that attendee list and really excited to see so many familiar names of people that I work with right now or I used to work with. So hello guys. It is a little bit and probably somewhat untypical topic for automated, because I'm going not just cover only automation related topic, but I'm going to talk about testing in general from ISTQB standpoint. And to begin with, I would like to use opportunity to thank automated team. Just realize that you guys have anniversary. It's a 10th meetup you're hosting. So thank you for organizing it. Thank you for driving it. I think it's important thing that you do for the community. To my knowledge, it's a volunteer work. So great job on it, guys. And thank you for the opportunity for inviting me to present the changes that happened recently in Lithuania by joining ISTQB community. So I would like to begin with a quick introduction of myself. Actually, I wouldn't say that there are too many titles. I'm a president of ISTQB board in Lithuania, LTSTQB. It's a new organization. Besides that, I am a business unit manager at Lithuania's company called Insoft. At Insoft, I manage a testing team of 70 people today. And the stats for my testing team are that 50%, I just got the fresh stats from the HR, 35 people hold at least foundation level certification in the company I work for. Myself, I like to call lead by example. I was also taking a lot of certifications, in particular ISTQB certifications. I hold all 3 advanced level certifications: test analyst, technical test analyst, and test manager. And quite recently, I have passed the test and hold one of expert level certificates, managing the test team, which is a part of a test manager expert level certification group of certificates. Besides work at Insoft, I also teach software testing at Vilnius University, Faculty of Mathematics and Informatics. So that's it about me shortly. Just a quick warning. I have a companion here, a dog that might also give some comments by barking. So just in case if it happens, apologies for that. All right. Agenda. My first idea was even not to use any slides actually to present the changes. But nevertheless, I decided to use the slide deck and to make it really lightweight. And as you see, the agenda is also really lightweight. I'm going to mainly focus on 3 topics. I would like to share the story behind the idea of establishing a Lithuanian Software Testing Qualifications Board. And a lot of it, it's actually a personal story that connects to my background. I would give you more details. What is ISTQB as an organization, what it does, how it functions, and I would also explain what is actually the impact for Lithuania's community, what would be the key functions of national board in Lithuania. So let's begin with the story behind the idea. I have taken my first foundation level exam, actually, I believe it was 2006. So that is 17 years ago. But I would say that before we deep dive into the story behind it, back in 2006, there was no ISTQB board, and it was just recently established. And when we went, myself and QA director from NASDAQ, Mantas Anulis, we both went to the General Assembly, which was held in April in Poland, in Wrocław. We've reviewed the market, Lithuania's market, because we had to present that we have strong IT sector in Lithuania, and we were collecting the stats. And this is actually the slide that I was presenting. Lithuania remained the biggest gap that had no ISTQB organization left in the whole Europe. And this is very surprising. Just nobody can answer why it was like that. And I've presented key facts about Lithuania IT sector, and I would like just to do that for you guys quickly. All stats are taken from Invest Lithuania website. So we, as a country, are relatively small country with just a little bit under 2.8 million in population. So the board is itself representing not the biggest country. There are some boards in ISTQB that cover multiple countries. There are boards of really huge, big countries. So we are in an independent board. In Lithuania, based on stats, we have 12,000 IT students. We have 54,000 IT specialists employed, 36,000 software developers. Unfortunately, there are no stats how many software testers there are in the market. Hopefully, there will be these stats sometime in the future. What's interesting fact about our IT market that we have a lot of specialized schools that inject about 2,500 IT specialists into the market. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a really substantial portion of software testers that go through the specialized courses and seek testing careers. And two more interesting facts about our IT market. I believe it is the data taken from 2021. We were, and maybe we still are, the second in EU for young specialists in ICT sector. And we're also second in EU for employment of female ICT specialists. So just a quick overview of our IT market. We all know that IT is really huge in Lithuania. It is booming. A lot of people change their careers and decide to become developers and software testers. So we were ready a long time ago. Right now, is everything booming? We emerged to apply for the membership. So the story behind the idea, as I mentioned, it's probably started even before 2008. As I said, it represents my personal story. I had my first certification in 2006. Together with my colleagues, we drove to a newly established board in Latvia that was an exam provider, and I took my foundation level exam. I passed my exam and got the certificate. Later on, when I moved on with my career, I was promoted to the test manager, and I call it somehow by accident. I was a test manager with very light experience, and I felt like I really need to close the gap. I need to study more. Where could you study testing? Back then, there were basically no sources. There were no courses. There were no university studies that would cover testing in Lithuania. There were no specific training classes, but there was ISTQB, and I already had foundation level certificate. So I've decided that I need to see what ISTQB has to offer in terms of higher level of education, in terms of advanced level. And in 2009, I've decided to go for advanced level exam. I believe it was technical test analyst. And I thought, okay, do I still have to drive to Riga? Do I have to still go to Latvia? Maybe there is a board already in Vilnius or somewhere around. Nope, there was no board in Lithuania. The story kept on repeating. I took my second advanced level exam. Probably it was a test manager in 2012. There was no ISTQB board. So the story went on. Later on, I did try different career paths. I did work as a business analyst. I had certifications in that area. I worked as a project manager. I also got some certifications in that area. And eventually I came back to the expert level examinations because it was on my radar for quite a while, probably for like 5 years. Since 2018, I wanted to see what is expert level about. And in 2022, I decided to take expert level trainings and examination. And I had this old habit to check, is there a board in Lithuania? Surprisingly, there was none, again. And I kind of had this deja vu feeling that, wow, that would be a cool thing to have a board. But I always thought of myself that my experience is too light. Somebody would probably eventually do this. And I've actually challenged myself. What if, I would drive this initiative? Okay, I see a Q&As. Why is it important to have ISTQB certification? We will cover that. We will cover that. Let's keep the questions for now. Of course, if you're eager to ask, do so, but I might just miss it when I follow my agenda. So I decided that I want to learn more. What is ISTQB about? What it does, right? For me, it was important to have certifications because I really found a lot of valuable theory that I've used on a daily basis in my career. It helped me to justify my decisions. It helped me to reference good practices, some standards, and basically to make the change in the organizations that I did testing or provided services for. But we can talk more about it later on. I have slides that cover certifications. So in 2022, I decided to look around and find active community members that would like to join the board and also drive this initiative. And as I mentioned, we actually flew to Poland to participate in General Assembly. This is the event that is hosted by ISTQB twice per year to present our application, to stand in front of the international audience, answer the questions, share our motivation, and eventually, the good news is that we were voted to join, to be admitted to the ISTQB organization as 68th ISTQB member. So this is a memorable date, 21st of April, 2023, when we were admitted. Now, I would like to share the members. Those who are founding members, who are executive members of ISTQB board in Lithuania. As I mentioned, Mantas Anulis, he's a vice president. He's also software testing lecturer at Code Academy. Besides being a senior director for QA testing at NASDAQ, he is also a mentor at the Women Go Tech program, very active member. And he also, to my knowledge, when I've did search for testers in Lithuania who hold expert level certifications, actually I wasn't able to find any. So maybe there are some, but those who have it mentioned on their LinkedIn profiles right now, it's me and Mantas. Svetlana Savikanite, I'm extremely excited to have a person from the public sector. Svetlana is the head of testing division at State Tax Inspectorate. Lydia Belchikova, she's a very experienced senior software tester that works for Bentley Systems. Tomasonis, he used to also teach software testing at the university, and he holds advanced level certifications for ISTQB, and he's also co-host of Automated. So good to have you, Thomas, on board. One more socially active community member that we have is Nikolai Tolkachev. He's just starting his new position as an engineering manager at NordPass. He's a speaker, I would say well-known speaker at podcasts, talks about quality, pokalbė apie kokybę. And last week we have recorded a podcast with Mantas, Nikolai, and Deimantas that will be out in July. Liudas Jankauskas, very active in the social media, very active in LinkedIn, has many followers. He's also a lecturer at Baltic Institute of Technology. Laurinas Ramanauskas. It was so surprising to find Laurinas, who was also having conversations with Latvian Software Testing Qualifications Board and trying to learn what the board does and what it takes to establish it. So he made some progress there, and he also joined the organization. Algirdas Jundulas, he's a test automation architect at Nord Security, a very strong technical person, and it's great to have test automation architects on board. So with this team, we decided that we're on a mission. First of all, we want to promote testing knowledge and education in Lithuania, especially for those who change their careers, who go for software testing trainings. We want to make sure that the quality of education matches the best standards. And of course, we want to grow the competence and number of software testing professionals in Lithuania. And the third item is in particular important for me, that Lithuania's testing community can make the change and participate in ISTQB working groups and contribute. All the testing materials, all syllabi, glossaries are actually made by international community, by volunteers, and we can also contribute to make the impact, make the change. So that's really a great statement for me personally and for our community in particular. Now, I would like to give you more background. What is ISTQB? What it does? Simple thing, the vision of ISTQB is to improve, to continually improve and advance the software testing profession by defining, maintaining the body of knowledge which allows testers to be certified based on best practices, and of course connecting the international software testing community. At the General Assemblies, that's where all the communities all over the world connect and exchange experiences, exchange practices, and do the researches. ISTQB is an independent democratic nonprofit association ruled by constitution. So Lithuanian Software Testing Board is also non-for-profit association. ISTQB, as an international organization, it is an ecosystem of all boards across the world, exam providers, training providers, that work together to deliver ISTQB certified tester scheme. Certified tester scheme is the scheme where there is a portfolio of different certifications that ISTQB offers. And all member boards act as a local community, local communities as direct contacts for professionals and organizations in the country. National boards can do translations, accredit training providers, perform exams, and I really like this statement that member boards ensure that there's international harmonization across the world and mutual recognition of certificates. This is a certified tester scheme. I would not go into great detail what it is offering. It's publicly available information. I would say just briefly that the foundation level is a foundation, a basis, a starting layer of all certifications. There's a core, middle column, core certification path with advanced level certificates, expert level certificates. There's an agile path on the left, and there are specialist path on the right. And anyone can choose what they're interested in. You can study the syllabi. There is a lot of books written to help you study and prepare for examinations. You can take exams, you can just study it. Some of the materials are prepared by, not just by global communities. There are some boards that are actively involved, for example, in mobile testing, in AI testing, in gaming industry. And these boards very actively contribute on to give the best practices how to do the testing for the specific industry. And if you happen to be doing some testing work for this specific industry, you can look it up and find a lot of useful things. We have people in our organization that went through performance testing, certifications, usability, acceptance, and definitely there are things that are very helpful for your daily work as a tester. Automation is also one of the key products that Certified Tester Scheme offers. And trust me, it is really, it has active attention from the international community. There are a lot of great minds that are working on updates on all of these certifications and test automation in particular, because that's very actively changing segment. And just a quick update on the foundation level. I don't know if you heard or not, please don't read through this material. It is for the reference only. There was a major upgrade released to Certified Tester Foundation level exam. There's a new syllabi, and from the high level, it might seem like it is similar, but it is already based on Agile. Certified Agile Tester is already a part of Foundation level 4.0. Let me just move. Yeah, it is already promoting, encouraging shift-left testing, and it already has DevOps practices in it. And I also decided to provide some more stats. We discussed that with board members. The old syllabi, the previous version, had 93 pages. The new one has 74. So I would call this a good example of less is more concept. So it changed significantly. It evolved, and it was all done by the community, by volunteers, by member boards. So here's how ISTQB is structured. I use QR codes quite frequently in my presentation. So if you want to read more, you can just scan it instead of typing the link. So the structure of ISTQB is the following. There are training providers, there are exam providers that are connected with member boards. There are member boards in I don't have the exact stats, but there are probably more than 100 countries for sure. And all the representatives of member boards, exam providers, training providers gather at the General Assembly. The upcoming General Assembly is going to be in Japan, in Tokyo, in September. And there are different work groups led by executive committee that work remotely, that gather and contribute to all this certified tester scheme. Now, key functions of Lithuania Software Testing Board. What are we going to do here? So for the training providers in Lithuania, what ISTQB does, it sets accreditation criteria to ensure that there is a delivery of consistent knowledge. It's not that, there could be good training providers, that's fine. There could be not as good training providers. Those training providers that have prepared their course materials, and I'm pretty sure that there are plenty that are in alignment with ISTQB syllabi. Those training providers can go through an accreditation process, and they would be acknowledged as official training providers or on ISTQB.org and ISTQB LT websites. If you go to ISTQB website and you can search for training providers, if you select the country, you would search and you would see that there are none at the moment listed on ISTQB website. So we will be accrediting training providers based on ISTQB rules to make sure that their material is well prepared, and we would also promote these organizations that are in alignment with ISTQB organization. And that is going to be one of the sources of the LTSTQB income to fund the organization and our contributions to certified tester schema, that we could take the trips and go to general assemblies and participate in voting, participate in the work groups. Right now, all the work is absolutely volunteer, and all the fundings, all sponsorship comes from the executive members ourselves. So all the trips that are coming for the Japan, we will do at our own expenses. Second activity of the board are examinations. So today, anyone can take ISTQB exams in Lithuania. You can search, find many exam providers. They are allowed to provide examinations on the territory of Lithuania. But with the establishment of Lithuanian Software Testing Qualifications Board, our board will offer one of the ways to do the exams. We have a committee right now formed out of executive members that are working on this process of establishing examinations practice. It can be from doing it all ourselves or by partnering with some exam providers. There are global exam providers. We're working on this process. The idea of this is that we would be promoting where and when we will hold public exams. We are looking forward to cooperate and partner with training providers. For those accredited training providers would be able to hold exams in their classes after delivering the training course. We would work with them to make sure that the classes are compliant with the requirements so that examinations can take place. And of course, we as an organization want to help the testers to progress in their career. These certificates, I would say ISTQB has unprecedented scale. Certificate itself doesn't necessarily make you a good tester, that's for sure, but it doesn't do you any harm. I would say an opposite. You would still learn a lot from these certification, from these materials. These certificates are internationally recognized. There's no certified tester scheme as spread as ISTQB, and that would be driven by community. Second thing, even on our local Lithuania's market, if you would look at the public sector, if you would, we participate in many tenders. Foundation level certification is a must for a tester to be enrolled on the program and to do the testing, provide testing services for Lithuania's government. So we want to spread the knowledge, we want to spread the news and make it really available, accessible to testing community. Work groups, as I mentioned, especially for those who are involved in academic work, for those who are involved in automation in particular, there is an opportunity for members to make the mark, participate in developing, in updating, improving the learning materials, improving the syllabi. So as I mentioned, the upcoming GA will be held in Japan in September, that we will be already traveling to. We really rushed to apply in April to be at the GA in Poland, because it's not far, it's our neighbor country. It's much easier and cheaper trip than trip to Japan. So in Japan, we will be not as applicants, but as a members already. And last but not least, we will be announcing a partnership program. ISTQB encourages, fosters relationships and partnerships with different industries, academia, government, media, or any other interested parties. And we will be, first of all, we will be listing partners in the websites, promoting them. There will be a benefits package offered to the partners. And we have some corporate sponsors that help our organization to make a footprint, to grow and establish all these practices in Lithuania's market. So the partnership program, we're putting the rules together to make it available for a broader audience. We're looking for sponsorship. So that's the news on my side. And eventually I'm coming up to the end of my presentation. For those who are not following us yet on LinkedIn, you can easily scan this QR code, follow us. We will be sharing the news. We will be sharing the news about certifications. We would be explaining why it is important to get certified. We'll be sharing the news about accredited training providers. So stay tuned. What did you have to prepare to get admitted to ISTQB? Well, first of all, when you apply, and actually there is a process described on ISTQB website, what needs to be done. First of all, you sign NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and have to be really careful about the things that I talk, but I mean, it's all straightforward things. One of the key requirements to apply, and entry criteria is actually it's actually to have community. This initiative has to be driven by community. It cannot be driven by, let's call it, examination business. It cannot be driven by a training provider. It cannot be driven by a single organization. There are really strict rules that there should not be more than a certain percentage of members from a single organization. It has to be driven by community. And we really were preparing hard to make sure that we have really strong application members with lots of experience, members that are very active socially in the academic world. Eventually you express the interest to apply. You have to establish a non-for-profit association or any other non-for-profit organization in your country. So there's some legal work, there's some paperwork to do that. And you have to have a business plan. How would you, since it's not non-for-profit organization, we're not compensated. But still, this organization needs funds to run. This business, non-for-profit business, needs to be sustainable so that we can have expenses to pay for software licenses, for the office right now. Basically, I funded, as I'm a co-owner of the InSoft funds, also the ISTQB board as a sponsor. Right now, temporary, our headquarters are based in the InSoft office. So when we will be able to afford it, we would have our separate space. So a lot of organizational work, a lot of administrative work to establish the board. Okay, let me move on to the next question. What certificates were most useful for you? Maybe you could share. Okay, sorry, maybe I would start. What was the first question? Okay, I would like to get certified by ISTQB. Where should I start? If you want to get certified right now and you have no certifications, go to istqb.org and you can find exam providers. There would be at least 5 listed, and you can have exam by going to the testing center. You can have it's called proctored exam. You can have exam from your home. There's a process how to do it from your home. You share your screen, you share yourself from the laptop, and you share yourself from the cell phone, and you can have an exam at your home. We as a board, we will provide an option, but we're working on that. We have a target to have our option that will be also advertised on ISTQB.lt website by the end of the summer. That's our target. And I would recommend definitely to start with foundation level. There's no other option except the foundation. And if you haven't prepared yet, read the syllabi or take the good training courses and go for foundation level 4.0. That's the most advanced, the best you can have from the foundation level right now. What certificates were the most useful for you? Maybe you could share any use case examples. Well, I like to share that how I look at the certifications. There is no such a thing as this certificate is a must and this certificate did not help me. In every certificate, you can find 5, 10, 50, 90% of information that would eventually resonate and would be really helpful to what you do. Myself, I was largely involved in management work, in planning, defining test strategies, test policies, and I've used it as a handbook just to look up things by doing presentations, by justifying decisions, by driving the strategic directions of large organizations, corporations. And when you try to share the idea, there's three things how you can defend your idea. It's logos, ethos, and pathos. You have to reference some standards, backgrounds, good practices. You have to share good examples, and only after that you can share. And that's how I would like to do your personal opinion. But you have to form really solid foundation background for your decision making, for your thoughts. As a testers, I remember I really felt like I'm real life experienced tester initially when I started my career, and there were delivery leads, dev leads, very solid project managers that I had to interact with, and I really wanted to back up my thoughts, decision making by good practices. And what I see today that it's hard to find non-testing IT personnel that would be really well educated in terms of testing. You need to help them. You need to drive them through the testing process, through the quality. Do you foresee what could be Lithuanian contribution to ISTQB? What strength do we have? Well, certainly automation. There are process work groups. Myself, I'm really interested in developing sample examination questions. But again, there are so many work groups. And when I went to GA, it was so overwhelming what ISTQB does. There are so many work tracks, and we're still learning what they do. As our next step, we will just participate in work groups to learn what it is, what it takes, and we would, many members expressed interest to participate in it very actively. So we're taking a baby steps right now to learn more. If you work in a public sector and have 3.1 version of Foundation, which does not include agile tester material, does it mean that for a public sector you need to retake? No, it does not mean that. It's not differentiated. By the way, for those who have taken foundation level, I used to recommend to take agile tester as a next, because it is really fun to read. It's really easy to remember and learn this material, and it's really practical in your daily work. Right now, foundation level 4.0 has it's both. And agile tester is not required, but I mean, hey guys, any project you would go to work for, I would be surprised that there would be no agile practices involved. There would be many cases that people like to call it agile, but nevertheless, it's agile everywhere, and even in the government industry, in government projects, government sector, there is an agile. Could you please comment on this option? ISTQB Foundation is a must for every professional QA specialist. I would not say it is a must. It doesn't harm you for sure. I've met many people who are skeptical about certifications, and that's perfectly fine. You can study materials. I mean, just study it and make your own decision. Was it worth it for you or not? Was it helpful or not? But when you play on international arena, you meet other people that come from different countries with different backgrounds, with different culture, and you have something in common. You have common terms. You have common vocabulary to use to be on the same page what we're talking about. Testing is so context specific, and it's actually one of key principles of testing. It is context specific. What do you mean by test case? What do you mean by test scenario? What are priorities? How to use it? What are the risks in testing? So it is not a must. But for example, in Lithuania, in public sector, I see that probably it would be challenging to find a public tender where they would ask for a tester that would not have internationally recognized testers qualification. Hopefully, there would be higher requirements for automation in the future, that it would be an ask for expertise and who knows, maybe certifications. And not just ISTQB certifications. There are other certifications developed by international organizations that cover Selenium, Cypress, Appium, I believe as well there. So this is rapidly developing market. Is it the same to take an exam in Lithuania and any other country from practical point of view? Are they similarly recognized across the world? So I answered the last question. Yes, they are similarly recognized across the world. Is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference. There are different exam providers. There are global exam providers, and some exams are provided by the boards. So there might be difference in questions, and these questions might reflect somewhat the market, somewhat the community, somewhat mentality of the specific board. For example, there might be different questions if you take exams from UK board or US board. They are native speakers. There might be some variations because the exams are developed by different bodies, by different organizations, but all the exams are developed based on ISTQB syllabi. So the rules, the source of the knowledge comes from ISTQB organization. You told that you have many different certifications. Which of your certifications were the most hard and the most easy? Can you categorize them somehow by levels, or ISTQB levels mean that they are getting harder to take? Yes, ISTQB levels, definitely. Foundation level is easier if we're talking about ISTQB. Advanced level, it is hard, honestly, and don't hesitate to challenge yourself. After I finished my master's studies, master degree status, I like to share that thought. Maybe it would help any of you. I thought I want to challenge myself twice per year, as I had sessions in the university. And I decided just learn something, take the exam, maybe it will help in my career. And I have taken advanced level exams. Honestly, there were exams that I haven't passed from the first time because I was studying on my own. I couldn't afford the trainings back then. When I was taking expert level exam, I find it okay. I wouldn't say it was too hard for me, but I did take the trainings, which are quite costly, but right now I could afford it. I did take business analysis certification. I have passed by British Computer Society. I have taken requirements engineering certification of IREB, it's International Requirements Engineering Board. I also have Prince 2 certification for project management. I have Agile project management certification, which I really liked. That's where I really had deep dive into Agile practices. I also have UML foundation level certification, which actually was probably the hardest of all. When I had it, I thought I will never have any certification, any exam ever, but that changed. I just need to have some rest. Since Automate is about automation, can you elaborate a bit what the test automation ISTQB certificate is about? Honestly, guys, I haven't taken that exam yet, but we have a board member, Thomas Tomasonis, who actually have taken that exam. And I would challenge him, since he's on a call, and also co-host of Automated. Thomas, can you share some insights? Probably it was a while.
Yes, hello everyone. Thanks for challenging me in this topic. For this certification, I took trainings as well in London, United Kingdom. It was great trainings, great lecturer. So I found it quite okay to pass this certificate. It was about test automation architecture, how to try and choose new tools, evaluate risks, and so on. So basically, there was no coding, more or less focus on decision making.
Yeah, and you know, there are things that I can share and I cannot share, but there are actively ISTQB community is actively working on, as I mentioned, on all topics, and automation certification in particular. So it will be getting more practical for sure, and it will be extended, and not just ISTQB, as I mentioned. I believe GASC, they're launching or A4Q. Just look it up over. We just Google it. They are providing some interesting. For me, it looks exciting. What kind of trainings they are launching for automation folks. How regular people can contribute to the LTSTQB? Is there a way to contact someone from the board with ideas? What is the way of bringing us to the community in Lithuania? Yes, again, with the executive board members, we're doing a lot of housekeeping right now, and we need to establish the rules, how the memberships will be governed, how we will be accepting new members, what we will be asking from the new members. Apparently, we would establish some symbolic membership fee, and we will be expecting members to bring something to the board in terms of competency, in terms of the status, and in terms of the contribution. So we need to establish these rules and guidelines ourselves. But you know, if you feel like you would like to do this, ISTQB, sorry, info@istqb.lt, shoot us an email or contact us via LinkedIn profile. We would love to have conversations with you. And actually, I would like to mention one more thing. If you're manager level, you want to hear more about the value that it brings to organizations, like I did for the company I work for. You know, we would love to meet for a coffee to discuss. And actually, we were contacted by some organizations like this that are looking for more facts, justifications for their senior leadership, why they should have their testers certified, what would be the value for their organization. So we can share that justification, share thoughts and facts.